Hello everyone. Now we are going to see about the introduction of ops. What we have seen that continuation of the postnatal part. That is what we have seen. That is for understanding purpose. We have divided into three parts: antenatal, intranatal, and postnatal. Postnatal again it is divided into two parts. That is the mother and the neonate. So mother and the neonate. That is what we are seeing. Mother again it is divided into two parts: normal and abnormal. Neonate, that is the newborn baby up to the 28 weeks, it is called as a neonate, that is normal and abnormal. So first what we are going to see, this part, mother, normal and abnormal parts. So ops we are seeing postnatal, mother, normal and abnormal. So today we are going to see about the normal part of it. So what are the points we are going to see in this? That is the, what is the normal pueperium, what is the meaning of this pueperium, then what is the points that which covered over here, that is the different what is the meaning of lochia, then whatever the changes that takes place in the uterus, and what is the lactation, what are the stages of the lactation, then what is the breastfeeding, importance, rooming in and weaning. That these are the points what we are going to see in this. So first, so that is what we are going to see about the physiology and management of normal pupperium. So introduction point of view, the pupperium, what is it? It is a period of approximately 6 weeks uh, after the delivery, and which commences following completion of third stage of labor. So what is during this time, the woman recovers from the stress of pregnancy and delivery, and the physiological adaptations which occur during the pregnancy subside. So it's facilitating the restoration of the non-pregnant state. So that is the characteristics of it. What is the postpartum period? Is the period of time following the delivery of the child, during which whatever the body tissues whatever that is related with that of the reproductive system, which reverts back to that of non-pregnant state, and at which level it both, that is at anatomical and physiologically. And it is the period of adjustment after the pregnancy and delivery, when anatomical and physiological changes of pregnancy are reversed back to the non-pregnant state, and reproductive tract returns to its normal and non-pregnancy state. As we know that during the pregnancy there are changes which takes place in the uterus reproductive life. There is an increase in the thickness of the endometrium, which is called as a decidua. So it again come back to its normal anatomical and position also, as we know that it increases during the pregnancy. Now this becomes revert back to the non-pregnant state, and this that is called as a pupperium. And again, this pupperium, it is divided into three parts, that is immediate, early, and the late, or it can be other words, that is the remote word it is used. So the it is the postpartum period which is divided in these three parts. So how it is? So initial 24 hours after the parturition or after the delivery, when an acute post anesthetic or post delivery complications may occur. This is the crucial time. So that is called as an immediate pupperium. Then second one is, that is the early pupperium, that is which extends until the first week of the pregnancy, first week of after the delivery, that is postpartum. And the next word that is related with the remote pupperium, that is late pupperium, which includes the period of time required for involution of the genital organ. Involution, that is, it reverts back to its normal size. That is up to 6 weeks of 6 weeks of postpartum. So that is in short division, or division of the stages of pupperium. So what we are seeing, that whatever the changes which takes place, as we know that during the pregnancy, the height of the uterus, it is increased. That is slowly, this way, the height of the uterus increase. And after the delivery, what is the height of the uterus? So on first day, that is up to the umbilicus. Then on this is the second day, then third day, then fifth day, seventh day, and 10th day, it comes to that of its original. Means this is the how the decrease in the height of the uterus, which takes place during the puerperium period. And what we know that after delivery, whatever the growth of the endometrium, which is remained up to 9 months, which is called as a decidua. Then after delivery, it whatever this uterine inner layer, it gets discharged from it after the birth, and that is called as a lochia. And definitely, this is going to be more than that of the normal one, because here the thickness of the endometrium, it is more than the up to the 10 mm. And definitely if it is for the 9 months, so quantity wise it is going to be, and duration wise it is going to be more. And again, its color wise also it is going to be vary. So it can be vary from the color wise, if you say that it is from bright red to that of the pinkish or brownish and pinkish color, or whitish color also. And it is when it is started for the first 2 hours after the birth, whatever the discharge which comes out, that is called as a lochia. Then it should be about that of a heavy menstrual period. After that time, the lochial flow should steadily decrease. So initially it is very heavy, and slowly it goes decreasing by. Then next, that is, it is the lochia. It is the vaginal discharge that occurs after birth. It is a discharge which originates from where it comes. So if we see that what is the content from where this lochia comes, it is from the inner layer of the uterine body, then cervix, and then vagina. Then for the first 2 hours after the birth, the amount of lochia should be about that of heavy menstrual period, and after that, then slowly it becomes a steadily decrease. So lochia odor and reaction. So what is it? It is having some specific peculiar smell, which reaction is like that of alkaline, which leading to become acid towards the end, when it is going towards the end of it. Then color wise, so it is color wise, it is divided into the three colors. Basic, it may be red color, it may be yellowish pinkish or brownish color, or it may be whitish. And depending on that, the name of it is given different names. That is, what are the names? If it is red color, then it is called as a lochia rubra. When it is the brownish color, pink color, then it is called as a lochia serosa. And when it is whitish color, it is called as a lochia alba. White is something alba. And what is the time duration? So it is about the first initial, whatever the discharge of the lochia is called as a rubra. And how much days? It is about 1 to 4 days. And lochia serosa, it is about from 5 to 9 days. And lochia remaining about 10 to 15 days, it is the lochia alba. So what it consists, means what is the composition of it? If we say it, so in lochia rubra, what it consists? It consists of blood, which is threads of the fetal membranes, and decidual, vernix caseosa, lanigo, and meconium. But in case of lochia serosa, as I have already explained, it is a yellowish or pink or pale brownish color. Time duration 5 to 9 days. And how much? It consists of old blood, less of RBC, but more of leukocytes and wound exudates, mucus from cervix and microorganisms. So it may be anaerobic streptococci and staphylococci. And lochia serosa. So it contains plenty of decidual cells, leukocytes, mucose, colostrum, crystals, fatty and granular epithelial cells, and microorganisms are present over here. And if you see the how much amount, so if we see the amount wise, the average amount of discharge for the first 5 to 6 days, it is about some 250 ml. And what is the duration wise? So normal duration, it may extend from what we have seen up to the 15 days, but it may extend up to 3 weeks. And this, the lochia rubra may persist for longer, especially in women with twins, and the stanting in case of, definitely if it is the premature labor. And can be more when women get up from bed in the later period. So that is the duration if we say the lochia normally. And what is its clinical importance of lochia? Because if odor is offensive, is indicates that is something is there, that maybe sometimes it's written written cotton piece may be present which is there, or written piece of it the placenta can be there, which can give to this offensive discharge. So we have to think about it when we are dealing with the if there is a presence of odor. Why we are saying this normal? If when you are able to know the normal, then you are able to the abnormal things. Then amount point of view, why we are giving? If there is a scanty or absence, that signifies something infection or lochia metra, and if excessive also indicates something infection. So whatever the quantity wise, it should be normal, not less, not more than that. So that's why we are require the normal amount of lochia. Then lochia passes through three stages. So it passes through the three stages, that is the rubra, that is the lochia rubra, alba, and serosa. So in lochia rubra, it consists of blood, residual, and tropoplastic debris, last for 3 to 5 days. Something in serosa, blood, then old blood, serum, leukocytes, tissue debris, and it is expelled in 3 to 10 days of postpartum. Then alba, that is some leukocytes that is related with the whitish color, and it may consist of the epithelial cells, mucus, and bacteria. It is yellow to white in color. Lochia alba may continue to drain from up to and beyond the 6 weeks after childbirth. The amount of lochia is usually increased with ambulation and breastfeeding. Ambulation, if there is a movement takes place and breastfeeding is started. And if there is a persistence of lochia rubra early in the postpartum period, that something suggests that is the bleeding, which may be due to the presence of some remnants or retained fragments of the placenta, that we can think about, or the membrane, that we can think about it. And another common reason for the vaginal discharge of this lochia, that maybe sometimes it may be arises due to the vaginal cause or the cervical cause, that what we have to rule out. Sometimes vaginal or cervical laceration can lead to the long duration of this lochia. So that we have to think about it. Then normal after delivery, that is the lactation. And what we know the physiology of lactation, that is what we see over here. The fetus, it is sucking the impulse which is passed, the nerve impulses which is passed from the areola, and it goes into the central nervous system, and from there the lactiferous, it acts on the lactiferous ducts, and from there milk transport from over here. And lastly, what is ultimately what we are going to see, the ejection of the milk. And whatever this it is there are some stages which are present in the physiology of lactation. So what is the basic definition of lactation? So lactation is the it is describes the production of breast milk and its secretion from the mammary gland after delivery. That is meaning of the lactation. That is it is a production of breast milk. And what it, not production only, what is it? It has to be secreted from the mammary gland, and then after the delivery, that is called as a lactation. So what are the stages? What I have already says there are some stages. So there are 5 stages. That is, the first one is the first two genesis. First two are related with the genesis. Genesis, what is meaning of genesis? Genesis means something related with the development. We say in this diagram, this genesis. And to galacto, that is related with that of the milk. So first mammo, what is meaning of mammo? That is related with the mammary gland, that is breast. So the first what is required, the breast should be developed, then and then only it is able to do its function properly. So functional properly. So that is called as a development of the breast to a functional state. That is nothing but mammogenesis. Then what is second genesis? What we require, that is lactogenesis, that is synthesis and secretion of milk from the breast alveoli, that is called as a lactogenesis. So what are the two genesis? Mammogenesis, lactogenesis. And to galacto, galactokinesis and poiesis. Kinesis means what is something kinetic, it's action. So galactokinesis means related with the ejection, motion. So what is kinesis? Ejection of milk outside the breast. Only that much is sufficient for the continuation of the lactation? No. What is again important? Whatever this lactation process, it also continue afterwards. That is called as a galactopoiesis, that is maintenance of lactation. And involution, that is the regression and atrophy, that is post lactation. Regression means that is after finishing of the breastfeeding, then whatever the breast should comes to its normal, that is called as a regression. And atrophy, that is post lactation. Involution, that is coming to its normal state. So if we see, so it is the conception what we see over here. Then the fetal development takes place during this process. Just see from where the mammogenesis starts. Mammogenesis starts from the conception, that is pregnancy time. And over here the parturition which takes place, that is lactogenesis stage. Then from here the galactopoiesis, galactokinesis over here, and from here onwards it is the galactopoiesis. And over here that is the lactation, neonatal development. So how this mammogenesis, lactogenesis, and the galactokinesis and galactopoiesis, that is the how it is expressed. So what is this mammogenesis? What is it, mammo? That is the whatever the growth of the ducts and the lobulo-alveolar system, that which starts from the birth of the birth to the puberty and contains in and continues in pregnancy. As we know that the development of the breast starts from the birth, and it, proper development takes place in the puberty and it continues in pregnancy. Then whatever this ductal sprouting, which predominates in first trimester, and the lobular sprouting, which occurs in the second trimester. Hence, the breast will contain more glandular epithelial cells than the stroma. Just before and during the parturition, there is a new wave of mitotic activity causing growth on the maturation. That is just before the and during the parturition. Then second stage is the lactogenesis. Lactogenesis, that is occurs in mid-pregnancy. What is meaning of it? That is the initiation of milk synthesis. And whatever the alveolar differentiates into secretory cells, and prolactin stimulates. This prolactin stimulates mammary secretory cells to produce the milk. So which one is doing the role over here? It is the prolactin which is doing the role of it. And whatever this insulin and serum growth factor is responsible, which induce cells division of stem cells of the gland, and presence of this cortisol, which are here cortisol for formation of alveoli is required for the induction of milk synthesis. And then further, its differentiation is inhibited by high levels of progesterone from the placenta and loss of progesterone receptors in the lactating breast. Then galactokinesis. Kinesis something kinetic, movement, motion. So whatever this galactokinesis, it depends upon the sucking mechanism of the baby and the contractile action, which express milk from the alveoli into the ducts. What we have seen that is the express from the milk alveoli into the ducts. This contraction is brought about by the action of oxytocin. That is what we see in this diagram. Just I have shown over here the suction. What is it? So it is depends upon the this process kinetic. It is started when the baby sucks the nipple. And then milk let down reflex and milk ejection reflex inhibited by the psychic condition pain, breast engorgement. It gets inhibited. And OSS, what is it? Prolactin is the hormone which is responsible for the maintenance of the lactation. And what is it? Galactopoiesis, that is suckling is essential for maintenance of milk secretion. And it is periodic breastfeeding relieves the pressure in the ducts and promotes the more secretion. And controlled by autocrine system, that is supply demand, that is the galactopoiesis, this process it is depend upon it. Then next comes it in our mind, that is the colostrum. What is it? It is the milk secreted during the first 3 days after the delivery. And how it is? It is yellow in and thick and contains more antibodies and cells and high amounts of vitamins A, D, E, and K. So colostrum, what is it? It is the milk secreted during the first 3 days after the delivery. And how much time? It is first 3 days. How it is? Which one is the color? Yellow color. How is the consistency? Thick in consistency. And what is the advantage? Advantage as it consists of antibodies and cells and high amount of vitamins, that is A, D, E, K. That is called as a colostrum. And if we see the benefits of colostrum feeding, that is, it is perfect food for the infant in initial days. Why? Because it is have some laxative effect. What is meaning? It clears the infant's intestine for initial stools and whatever it, but obviously it prevents the jaundice also. Second thing, it contains the leukocytes which prevents the infection. And next one is that is the it contains the IgA which also provides the immunity to the newborn, that is neonate. Now for this, whatever we have seen, that is what we required the arrangement so that the whatever the bond between the mother and fetus takes place properly. So what is a hospital arrangement where a mother and a baby pair stay in the same room day and night, allowing the unlimited contact between the mother and the infant. That is called as a rooming in. Routine, that is rooming in means routine separation should be avoided. Separation should only occur for an individual clinical need. If separation of a mother and her infant is required because of a medical situation, document the reason for this separation in the mother and baby record. Then rooming in why? Because it helps establish and maintain the breastfeeding. Baby sleeps better and cry less. Then it reduces the exposure to infection, helps mother to learn about her baby's feeding and behavioral pattern, and it reduces cost also. So that is the benefit of this rooming in. Then next what we are going to see, the benefits of breastfeeding for the baby. What is the benefits of it? So first, it provides the optimum nutrition for proper growth and development. Then second, it protects against the illnesses. It is immunological benefits, that is what we are saying. It consists of IgA, then vitamin A, D, E, K. Then whatever it provides warmth and security to the child. Psychological, then reduces the risk of obesity, type 1, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and the hypertension. Then whatever it decreases the development of severe on autoimmune diseases. Whatever it promotes correct jaw and tooth alignment, reduces chance of SIDS, that is the sudden infant death syndrome, and it promotes bonding and trusting relationship with that of the fetus and the mother, and it reduces the chance of some childhood cancer such as lymphoma. What is it means? And whatever it is having the milk which is available to the fetus in the required temperature. Then it is easily available, it is cheap, and there is no cost is required for the breastfeeding. And then second thing, it is available at the temperature, it is easily digestible by the neonate. It is easily digestible, and uh, it is available whenever the neonate required. So that is the advantage of the breastfeeding. And second, next one is it is not for the neonate, it is benefits for the mother also, because it helps for the shrinkage of uterus. It reduces the risk of breast and ovarian cancer. It is also helpful for the birth spacing, then helpful for the weight loss of the mother, and reduces the postpartum postpartum hemorrhage. And also it helps for the improves the bone density and decreases the risk of for hip fracture, and it gives the some psychological satisfaction and fulfillment to the mother. It is more convenient and it is strong bonding with the baby, and it is definitely it is more economical for the mother and neonate also. So that is what we have seen about the normal part of the postnatal mother normal parts. So that what we are saying, in short, what we are saying, what is the meaning of pueperium, what are the stages of pueperium, that is immediate, early and late. Then what we are seeing the lochia, what is that its quantity, color, what are the types of it, then what is lactation, what are the stages of the lactation, what is colostrum, then rooming and the importance of breastfeeding. So that is in short concept of what are the normal things that takes place in the mother after the delivery. That is called as a pueperium. Thank you.